Okay, my friends, today we want to continue with the world of the 30-year-olds. Yes, I'm trying to help the ladies in the 30-year-old department. Paul, why are you focusing on the 30-year-olds? The problem with being in your 30s, ladies, whether you realize it or not, it's what you call the transition period. Some people like to call it the wall. The reason I call it the transition is simply because a lot of women think that they're still in their 20s. They still feel young, like they still got it. Not realizing, oh, I'm in my 30s and I'm almost up to geriatric pregnancy. That is when it hits them. When men that they want or that they saw that was attracted to them no longer want them. It is that serious transition, and a lot of women have a hard time dealing with the 30s. Listen up. Ladies, being in your 30s is a scary, scary place to be. But you have to realize you're no longer a child. You're no longer a kid. Men are taught that by age 18, you're a man now. You got to get your shit together. Women are taught, you're a young woman now. You're a young woman. You got to go out there and have some fun with your life. Okay? Have some fun. Go have some fun in your young years. Men are told you got to go out there and get it together. You see the difference? And so the woman is told to go have fun in her early years. The boy is told, listen, you're a man now. Go out there and make something of yourself. And the woman then chooses an older man to have fun with because he's the one with enough resources that she could have fun on his money, ignoring the young man in her age group. He's too young, he's broke, he don't have shit. So the boy has to struggle, build himself, while she, who has been born with her value to men, is out there just squandering it. She didn't settle down with a man her age.
Single and successful until I'm 30 because I study way too much right now to not become successful.
How old are you now?
22.
Oh. Okay.
Question for you. Do you think you'll still be able to command the same level of man at 30 years old as you can command now at 22?
I think I can command that man right now to wait for me when I'm 30.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Oh, shit, man.
What did she say?
She said she could command that guy to wait for 8 years.
8 years.
Okay. You do realize that the guy that you want isn't going to wait or be on your time, right?
Well, I don't know who that guy is right now, but I know I'm going to meet a guy when I'm 30. Are you going to tell me I'm going to change dramatically?
When they were both young adults, they didn't build together. So she throw her body and herself all over, and it just blows her mind. All of a sudden, she's 30. Yeah, and that, my friends, is where we have a problem. Because that young man, he now wants a 24-year-old woman when he's at 35, 32, 33, 34, 35. He has the money. He wants a 24-year-old. Same thing. The cycle of life continues. And this woman now, she's pissed off because that guy that has made it, that she saw growing, he don't want her. She's too old for him because he could get a 24-year-old. Reality of it is, when you hit your 40s, reality core sinks the hell in. There's no doubt anymore that, hey, shit, I'm there. I'm an adult. You can't hide it anymore. The body tells you and society tells you, holy shit, I'm in my 40s. And so I want to highlight this particular woman today because it's a 40-year-old who's been single for 12 years, who went out on a date. And I want you gentlemen to get inside the woman's head what she has to deal with when she dates, right? And the delusion, because we got to address a few points in this video. But before we proceed, you know what I'm going to ask you if you've been here before? Subscribe. Come on. You know I need to get these numbers up so I can start doing this for you guys full time. I need to double my subscribers because I want to do this full time. Hey, I'm close, but I need you guys to subscribe. I need you guys to watch more videos. I need you guys to help me help you. Help me help you. What movie was that? Tom Cruise movie somewhere. I heard that a long time ago.
Help me! Help me, Rod. Help me! Help you. Help me. Help you. Help me. Help
I'm showing my age. But anyway, listen. If you want to book a chat with me, you want to understand more about yourself, if you have some problems, log in to askanolderman.com, book a session, half an hour, 1 hour, have a chat. Let me help you deal with some of your issues. Okay? If you have a quick question in and out, get me over on Instagram, send me a voice message to Ask an Older Man. All right, let's get into today's video because this is a juicy one. Ladies, listen up because I'm going to be hitting you with a lot of facts and a lot of information to help you get out of the rut in your 30s. Okay? Ready? Buckle up. Let's do this.
All right. All of my fellow 40-something-year-olds who hate dating as much as I do. I have not been on a dating app in several months. And so I decided Friday night that I would get on one. And I matched with this guy and we start chatting away. Continued into Saturday and Sunday, and we'd made plans for Wednesday night. And then the more we talked, we were kind of like, we were kind of hitting it off. We're like, let's do Tuesday night too. Then comes Monday and he's like, hey, do you think you can slip away and meet me for coffee? And so I do. The date was about 5 hours long, and
I want to pause it there 1 second because this reminds me of a chat that I had last week. A lady who spoke on the phone for 3 hours to a gentleman. He's talked about himself non-stop, and she found it a little bit bizarre, a little bit disturbing because he wasn't asking her questions about herself. Now, she listened intently and she did what I told her to do, which is, hey, you need to start being more understanding. Thanks to Coach Adams for breaking this down so eloquently. Meet. So, ladies, I want you guys to understand that men provide you with 4 things, 4 very distinct things. And I want you to use the acronym MEAT. M-E-A-T. Men give you their meat. Money, energy, attention, and time. Those are the 4 most valuable things that you ladies demand and crave from a man. Money, energy, attention, and time. Money, you definitely understand. He has to pay for you on your first date. He has to make a certain amount of money, 6 figures, etc. Energy. He has to have enough energy to give to you. Whether it's in the bedroom or whether when you're out, that energy must be up there so that you can feel like, he has vitality. Attention. If he's not giving you enough attention and it's split between this one, the business, and his friends and his mom and his dog, you're not going to like it. You need attention. Time. You want to know that he's spending enough time with you. He needs to be on the phone. You need to know that he's available whenever you have time for yourself. Whenever you need him, you want his time. Money, energy, attention, and time meet. When a man gives you an abundance of time, 3 hours on a phone call, he is giving you himself. What is the one thing that we can no longer get back once we spend it? Time. Not money, time. A man that takes the time to talk to you, especially if he's an older man, you got to understand that he is trying to bond with you. Because usually, men don't sit around and talk like women. Initially, when a man is talking to you and giving you his time, and especially if he's a busy man that has a business to run, he has to take care of himself, he's alone or divorced, this man don't have a lot of time to give you. So when a man spends that kind of time with you, 5 hours on a date, he's interested in you. Gentlemen, you have to understand that women take your time for granted. Just because you've given her that amount of time, she don't see how valuable it is to you. So you got to be careful about how much time you give to a woman. I know it's exciting and it's fresh when you get to know a woman. You want to give her as much time, but like everything else, if you spend too much money on her up front, she will get bored. She will not appreciate it. You cannot give her an excessive amount of your meat. Otherwise, she will take it for granted. I tell you this, guys, because listen, I have this issue with trying to explain this to a 30-year-old woman who's talking to a 50-odd-year-old man. She's trying to develop a relationship, but she found it odd that he spent that much time talking to her. So, gentlemen, we'll proceed with this story, and you will see why it's not always a good idea to give a woman that much time.
It was great, went well, very attractive man, great job, just all around seems like a great catch, right?
All around seems like a good catch. Hold that in your brain. She said it, not me.
So that night, it was great, sent me a text afterwards, had a good time, all the things. Then Wednesday night, we go to dinner, and he picks out the place. I meet him at his house. We ride together to the restaurant. And as we're sitting there, kind of, halfway through dinner, he decides to tell me, he's like, you check a lot of my boxes. I'm really into you. I've told all my sisters about you. I say all mine, his two sisters. They've seen pictures of you and this and that. And I'm like, whoa. Slow your roll, bro. And so dinner still is fine. Great. We move on. I go back home. He sends me a bunch more text, kind of just, again, I'm really into you. I really go after what I want. But it's at this point, it's just becoming too much. And I tend to pump the brakes and actually back up on the first night of our date.
So, guys, understand where this guy messed up. Oh, pump the brakes. You see, so guys, this is where you need to understand a mind of a woman and the problem that we have in the dating market right now. So much of us are serial daters. She's been single for 12 years. So her relationship skills are dull. You have to understand that anything that you don't use, you will lose it. If you don't have a relationship in a long time, you will lose your relationship skills. If you don't exercise in a while, you will lose your muscles. If you don't run, get your cardio up, you will lose your lung capacity. Like I said in many videos prior, every single thing that we do, we adapt to whatever we do consistently. But the reverse is also true. What we fail to do or stop doing, those muscles or those skills actually deteriorate. So it is obvious to me that this woman has lost her relationship skills. Her hookup skills are on point. Her relationship skills, because remember, she identified he was a good guy. So gentlemen, you have to recognize women who are just temporary, and that's all you need to get from them. They're usually very skilled at dating. Very, very skilled at dating. But relationships, that is a whole different ball of wax. And that's what we're seeing with a lot of 30 and 40-year-old women who have been off the market. They're trying desperately to get a relationship. Desperate. They're desperate for that security, but they're not capable of it. What would have been a better bet if this woman had had a relationship with a few people over those 12 years? 6 years with this person, 6 years with another person. They failed. That would have been a better person to identify as a person to have a relationship with because they have relationship skills. But a woman who's been out of relationship for 12 years? Oh, red flag, dude. Red flag. And this guy should have seen the red flag. He didn't.
I just said, I really just don't get excited. I've been in this dating game longer than you. He's been divorced 2 years. I've been divorced for 14. I just said, I really just don't get excited. I've been in this dating game longer than you. He's been divorced 2 years. I've been divorced for 14. So yeah, I've been in this fucking single dating game for a hell of a lot longer. And he proceeded to also tell me he's gone on 40 dates in 2 years. And I'm like, holy fuck, that is more dates than I've gone on in my life. Let alone in 2 years. Jesus. So anyway, I tell him I'm not excited. I don't get excited just because I've had so many letdowns. So I contain any and all excitement. And he was kind of irritated by that. So after the second date, then he sends me a message the day after. And he's like, hey, I was reflecting on last night. I think I probably said too much, kind of opened up too much. I'm like, yeah, you think? And I just messaged him back like, hey, I get you being vulnerable, telling me how you feel. I'm just not in that place right now. It just seemed like an emotional dump.
See, this is the problem. She's a 40-year-old woman. This isn't a freaking teenager. A 40-year-old woman should have the emotional capacity to understand that, hey, this guy went through some pain in his prior relationship, in his marriage. He needs someone to talk to. She should have the emotional capacity, the nurturing sort of capability to understand that we are old enough now to have gone through pain. And this man was literally talking to her like a human being. He was talking to her like, hey, I want to know that if I have this woman for the long term, if she's capable of actually having empathy for me. Because think about it. If she's 40, more than likely he was in his late 50s, 60s. Cool? At our age, all we're thinking about is we want a woman that has the mental capability. Because listen, women in their 40s, it's not exactly we're looking for the hot body and men don't look for that when it comes to 40-year-olds. Shit not as tight as they are when you were in your 20s. We're not looking for the body. We're looking for here. What is it up here? Can you bring me peace? If I have a problem, are you going to bring me frustration? Can we talk about issues when we're older? Because you're not far away from the rocking chair. I say that with a joke, but because me, I'm hoping that I will stay as physical as I can right up into my 70s, 80s, and 90s so that I could literally not be in the rocking chair. I'll probably have a walker, but I'm going to keep this body as fit as I can for as long as I can, right? But the point is, it would be nice to look over at my swivel-up wife next to me, wrinkled just like I am, and being able to say, hey, how's it going, honey? And she would ask me the same thing, and we would have a conversation, right? Because that's all we have when we're older. It's not like we're going to go on these great hikes in the Andes and shit. We're talking about, hey, all we pretty much have is conversation. So if this woman isn't capable of that sort of interaction at 40, gentlemen, you have to write her off. So this woman, remember, she's the one that said he was a great guy, great catch.
Supposed to go out tomorrow night. It just seemed like an emotional dump, and I'm still digesting it, and I just handle things differently. And it kind of rubbed him the wrong way, and we were supposed to go out tomorrow night. He texted me today, canceled plans, and I just said, oh, are you going to LA? Because he was going to LA to meet some chick, and he's like, irritated that I thought he was going on that trip, and I just was like, I'm just asking, I don't fucking care. And so he canceled all plans for the weekend, and he's just like, I'll contact you next week. I'm just gonna kind of let this simmer. So, yeah, no, I don't think so. I think we're good. I don't think there's a match anymore. I don't know. What would you guys do? I'm like, I wasn't really, after all that emotional, crazy dump, like, I get it. I love, that he's so into me, but I'm just not at the same level as he is. And he really just didn't seem to like my boundaries. And I have these fucking boundaries for a reason. I've been through a ton of therapy, and I've been single a lot longer. I'm going to have boundaries. I'm not settling. Like, what the fuck? But seriously, dating in your fucking 40s is terrible. Why does it have to be so bad?
Oh, Jesus. She's an idiot. I really think she's coping. She's coping with rejection. Because the fact that she actually said, hey, you know what? He was great in the other way. But she's selfish. I'll tell you exactly what happened. See this many times. She showed her true colors. The man saw those colors and realized this woman is all about herself. I shared my intimate self with her, and I didn't get anything back in return. She just making it seems like it was a great problem for her to actually have him dump on her. A good woman would have appreciated that the man shared his intimate life with her, right? And said, hey, I understand you. I understand where you're coming from. Sorry to hear that you went through so much shit with your ex-wife. Listen, I went through a hard time as well, and I will share that part with you as well. And that is what relationships are. Give and take, serving each other, right? So she said something nasty. The guy said, oh, no, red flag. And then he said, no, yeah, and not somebody that I'm interested in. And he pulled the plug. Now she's butthurt. He was going to LA to see another woman. I'm just asking. No, you weren't just asking. You got dumped because you showed your selfish side. Because if men aren't talking about them constantly, it's about me. It's the same thing with this 30-year-old that I'm talking to. And you know what? If you're listening, Miss Bahamian, I'm not talking about you negatively, but I'm trying to explain to people that, hey, listen, relationship is not about you. Relationships is about the other person. So as long as you can empathize with the other person and feel what they're feeling and understand that the man who rarely talks, men don't usually do this. So when he does it, it's important to him vitally. For you, it's just a conversation because that's how women communicate 24/7. Oh, they get into their feelings. But when a man does it, it's huge, ladies. So if you want success with a man and he talks to you emotionally, don't look at that as a small thing. He's opening up to you. He's testing you to see how well you're listening to him and how much you would care about him. Now, admittedly, this guy did it fast, but I think he's also a serial dater, and he tested this woman because she said he was on 40 dates. So all these other women that he probably did the same thing with, none of them passed the test. So 40-odd women got right off as well. And it shows you one thing, ladies, that's how difficult it is to find a right woman in the West. A man that can get 40 dates in 2 years? Holy Christ, that is a top dude. Most men can't even get freaking 40 dates in 10 years. This guy had 40 dates in 2 years. Wow. And that tells me that this was a man that she wanted, and she got her ass handed to her because she did not pass the test. The man opened up to her, and she just looked at it like, yeah, buddy, yeah, it's not about me. No, I'm not interested. If you're not talking about me, yeah, I'm not interested. And that is how she got screwed. So ladies, 30-year-old ladies, realize that you are no longer a child in your 30s. You're no longer a carefree woman with nothing and no issues. You have to have a level of emotional understanding of other men who are older than you, because those are the only men that you're going to attract at this age. So you have to be deeply in your femininity. And part of being feminine is to be nurturing. And it's not nurturing like, oh, he showed me some emotional issues, so I felt that, I don't want to be his mother. No. Nurturing in femininity to an adult is different. It's listening skills. Being able to say, oh, okay, I understand how you feel. You're not his therapist, but part of being in a relationship is being able to take somebody else's pain and suffering and also say, hey, I understand. Tell me more. Tell me more. I'm here for you. That's relationships. Because what do you want from him? What do you want from him? Meat, money, energy, attention, and time. You want his meat. So he's paying for your femininity with meat. I hope you ladies are understanding what I'm saying. So I want to wrap it up with this. Why is it so difficult to find relationships in today's environment? And I learned this from this relationship coach, psychologist, Logan Uri. And I found it fascinating because she hit the nail right on the head. I like to approach things from a scientific and biological perspective. And because she approached relationships from a scientific, psychological, biological perspective, I respect what she's saying. Because it involves research. It doesn't involve her emotions. Because what she says, the reason why we find dating and relationships so difficult these days, it's because of these 7 different problems that we have. Number 1, stop messaging. I said this in my last video. Messaging is one of the worst ways to actually start a relationship because communicating via text is not natural for human beings. Stop it. Pick up the phone, call the other person, send them a voice message so that you can get your tones and your inflections and the true meaning of what you're saying through your voice. It is very difficult to portray that in writing. So stop messaging, okay? One of the biggest things is we sort of identify ourselves. Everybody have their own identity. We're in this era where we can identify as he, she, they, them, their, binary, whatever the hell. We have come up with just this bizarre world of understanding who we are. So it places a tremendous amount of confusion on ourselves and to others. And in most of the world, and most of the non-Western world, this is still the simple case. You're identified by your religion, your tribe, your ethnicity, your parents, and that was pretty much it. That's it. Now you have all four of those issues and literally everything else that I mentioned earlier. So we don't have any self-identity that's concrete that the other person can actually see and identify and clearly understand you and mesh with you. Oh, you go, oh, African American, Filipino, straight, good, done. Simple. It's easier. It was easier. But this craziness now that we've identified makes it very difficult for people to identify themselves and hook up. It's what you call the paradox of choice. This is the problem that we have. And the next one is, because we have so many options, and this, we're back to the paradox of choice, we have so many options, we tend to have what we call paralysis by analysis. I call it by over-analysis. In other words, we want to make the perfect decision with this person. So we analyze them to death. Everything got to be perfect. There was a study done. I'll play this video.
Men and women were asked if they got 80% of everything they want in their ideal mate, would they be happy with that? Women said, no, that's settling. And men said, 80%, I'd be thrilled, that's a catch.
What are women too picky about here?
Men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date. And men named 3 things. She has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind. And she has to be interesting to talk to. Really valid criteria.
Ding, 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 ding. Pretty simple.
Right. Okay, reasonable, right? The women came back with 300 things that would rule out a guy for a second date. And we're talking about like another 2 hours and maybe a free dinner. And there were things like he wore a brown belt with black shoes. Or we were having a really good time and I thought he was cute and he was interesting, but then he did this Austin Powers impression and I just can't get that out of my mind and I can't go out with him again.
Yeah. Women had 300 and something choices that they want. How many did men have? 3. And that leads us into the next issue. We all have a problem making big decisions because we don't want to get it wrong. Marriage is a big decision. Trusting one person is a big decision. So we don't want to get it wrong. So we over-scrutinize the problem to the point where we have analysis paralysis. We're killing each other. We're literally just eliminating each other for bullshit. So this is another problem that we have. Of course, the most major issue is social media. Social media makes us think that everybody else has an amazing relationship, because you've seen a condensed version of all their great events that occur in a person's life. You're not seeing their downs. You're seeing their ups, because no one posts about the hardship and the arguments. Everybody just posts about the great trips and the great restaurants. No one posts about the debt and the problems. Now they do. Ladies are posting about their problems financially, etc., and their depression. Now that has become a thing on TikTok. But it don't get as much attention as the women who are posting their trips and their bikinis and their private jets that they get flown out and they get, or what do you call it, flued out. Still drives me crazy, that's that word. So all of these things, you now compare yourself and your relationship to other people. It's a problem because it's a fantasy. And one of the primary problems is far too many of us do not have relationship role models. We don't see our mothers, especially in the black community, where the 67 or 73% of parents are single mothers. That's a sickening number. So all you see is your mother who had a horrible relationship. And most of the time, the people who are in great relationships, they're not online. They're not online telling you how great their relationship is and talking about the hardships and up and down. Relationships are difficult, man. That's the reality of it. But you got to get through the waves. You got to get, the waves comes in, the waves goes out. Relationships go up and down, up and down. But once you put your psyche in that mindset to understand that, hey, this is the way it works, then you're going to be more comfortable with being in a relationship. But if you're constantly thinking that it's supposed to be great all the time, you're going to go through a divorce. And you're going to go through it quite quickly, soon after the honeymoon period is over. That's where a lot of people are suffering. So next is there are far too many examples of dating, hooking up, long-term relationships, not marriage. Everybody is in a situationship. There are tons of models that shows you those type of situations, but there's none showing you about marriage. That's the problem. So no one knows what is a good marriage anymore. And of course, we're constantly bombarded by this idea that we got to get this shit right. And if you don't get it right, it's going to destroy your future. So males and females suffer from this problem. And so people don't make a freaking decision. They say, I prefer to be alone because I don't want to get it wrong. All of these bitches out here, all of these men are abusive. All of it. And they will find every excuse not to get into a solid relationship or marriage. Because the pressure to get it right is overwhelming. But what does this do? It keeps us single. That's the problem. But if I was to apply the same logic to driving a car, there's a lot of accidents on the road. I've seen accidents here, accidents there. And when you're looking for an accident, you will find accidents. So I'm not driving. No. I refuse to drive. Got to take a chance. So guys, I'm going to cut this short right here. I've done a lot of talking, not a lot of videos, but I felt that I needed to teach you guys today. I felt like I needed to really get a lot of information across to you. All right. So anyway, guys, listen, subscribe, hit that old notification button, and get me over on Instagram. And more importantly, book a session on askanolderman.com so that I can help you guys get to where and what you want. Okay? And remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. All right? I'll see you guys in the next one. And cheers.